Finally a fall Friday.
Yay.
It's like kind of gray out and there's a little bit of a chill in the air. We had just the hottest, longest, stillest, driest, brightest summer that I can remember in a long, long time.
I think everybody, well, I can't speak to driest, but I think everybody had the hottest.
It was pretty hot.
Yeah.
It was pretty ridiculously hot. Like wanting to hide from the world hot. But finally, it's starting to get colder. Also, my Broncos beat the Chargers.
Not the Chargers, the Saints.
I'm sorry, the Saints. We lost to the Chargers and we beat the Saints. Sorry, I got confused. I saw a replay of a pick six against the Saints, and I got all excited. And then
You mean the Chargers?
The Chargers. No, against the Saints.
Oh.
Not the Chargers.
Okay.
We lost to the Chargers.
Whatever.
Also in the AFC West, and they beat us. But it's too bad. You know, we look weak this season, but you know we're chugging along. We're beating some terrible teams, and that's worth something. That is crazy. How do you get going that fast?
I think he has a motor.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez, I wouldn't go that fast on a longboard or any board.
And with no helmet.
I thought he had a helmet, or was that his hair?
It was his hat.
Really?
People here don't wear helmets all the time.
It's not. Yeah, it's not legally.
Even on motorcycles.
It's not legally mandated, so they don't. They can do what they want, including fall over and bonk their noggins. Well, it's Friday, and here we are. We've got questions. Oh, one nice thing, somebody came up with a new Osaka Navigator, which is great. For those of you who don't know, one of the things that a couple years ago, I discovered that I had a rather rare watch and I didn't know about it.
It was that long ago?
It's been more than a few years,
Wow.
actually. A special edition Seiko Navigator, 6117, 6420. And they were made only in 2 limited batches around the 1970 World's Fair. And someone just wrote me and said their father was an owner from new. That makes only the second person who has come along who knew about these from brand new. So I need to do an Osaka Navigator video too. Sort of get everybody back up to speed. Well, you want to do wrist check?
Sure.
Okay, let's do wrist check. That is such a cool 6139.
I know that the orange isn't the original color, but that's what sells it for me.
Well, no, that is the original color.
No, I thought it was more yellow.
No, it was faded. I retinted it the original orange.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember seeing a picture of one. I swear it was yellow.
I'll look in the catalog, but that was they fade to yellow given enough time, but that one I tinted orange again. If I did it wrong, I still think it looks nice.
No, I like it. That's what I like about it.
Okay, well then I'll leave it. That's a cool watch. I couldn't wait. I had to go through and restore it, so I actually did that through this week. There's that beautiful faded, it's kind of dusty, sorry people, that beautiful faded color, that faded almost like parkerization or whatever the heck is on this thing. It looks super toolish. The crystal has some marks on it because I ordered a correct new crystal for this and they shipped me the wrong one. But there it is. There is your poor man's Top Gun. What a watch. And we're back. You want to do the thing?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, this came from an email from Matt O.
Hello, Matt O.
Hi, Spencer and Sabrina. I inherited my grandfather's 1950 Aristo chronograph powered by a Venus 188 movement. The hour markers each have a small radium dot. I've tested it with a Geiger counter. The watch is very radioactive compared to a tritium dial. Does this pose a hazard to the person wearing the watch? What about storing the watch? I read radium dials give off radon and can contaminate other watches in a watch box, especially because vintage watches are poorly sealed. Should I be storing this watch separately? It's tough to discern fact from fiction, especially on the internet. I'm interested to hear your opinion.
Well, it's like it's kind of like asbestos, a little bit, in that the big thing is you don't want to disturb the stuff. The problem is when it gets turned into dust, and then, like, say, for something like radium, if you inhale it, then you've got a problem. My understanding is that the radioactiveness of them doesn't have a lot of power. It doesn't. I mean, radium's nasty, but you have to be in like contact with it for it to be solid. What I've done in the past with watches that were clearly radioactive is I actually went and I used a clear binder on the loom to basically just hold it in place to stop it from disintegrating. The only other option is, what are you going to do? Remove the loom, and then you've got radium loom drifting around, which is no good. It's tough. Those radium dialed watches.
But they're often so cool looking.
Yeah, I know. But it's like you got to be careful with radium. Like there was a tragedy with a B-17 that crashed a good number of years ago in Connecticut, and it crashed and the front section burned. And all of those World War II planes had radium dialed instruments, and they had to put out a call for volunteers to come to sift the ashes for the radioactive material that burned out of the dials. And it was a bunch of old guys showed up, basically. They're like, I'm going to be dying soon anyway. So it's just, it's tough. I'm not a radioactivologist, and I'm not the best person to listen to, certainly, but my advice first is
don't pick at it.
Don't pick at it.
Don't eat it.
Yeah, lock it down if you possibly can. I don't know how much damage it'll actually do if it's on your wrist all the time, but I think it's safer than we think, but also it's very wise to be very cautious. Something I should read more about.
The whole exposing the other watches in a watch box, I'm like, wow.
Well, I can't make them more radioactive unless radium itself went into those other watches, which is where you start getting into dust. Mm-hmm. I don't know if radium can make other materials radioactive. I don't believe so. But if anybody knows, let us know.
Mm-hmm. Last 9 breaker. Peanut butter was also used a lot in military rations during the early 20th century. Plenty of videos on YouTube with people opening old World War I and World War II MRE rations that have peanut butter. The peanut butter is always tasted, and as long as it's still sealed in the cans, it seems to never go rancid in any of the videos.
Yeah, there's one guy specifically, his whole YouTube deal is eating old MREs. From everywhere, modern, old, really old. I mean, the guy actually tried a piece of Civil War hardtack.
Well, I mean, I don't think that would go bad. It would go rock.
Yeah, it did go rock. I think it did. But yeah, no, he tries everything. And sometimes he gets stuff and he opens it and it's clearly bad. And he's like, and you can hear it hissing. He doesn't eat everything.
Okay.
If it's clearly bad, he won't eat it.
Okay, that's good.
But he does try everything.
Unless it's bad.
Yeah, my favorite thing that he did, I wish I could remember his name, I can't right now, is he got a World War II pack of rations that came with a pack of Lucky Strikes. Mm-hmm. And the same thing happened when I was a kid. I remember that we got some at Jack's Surplus, and you open it up, and it had everything. It had, matches and all this other crap, and it had a little pack of Lucky Strikes. I would have been about Sebastian's age, and I tried one.
How'd that work out for you?
It wasn't very good. I couldn't really appreciate it.
You were 8.
Yeah, I know. What are you going to do?
Biff Tannen BTTF. Every one of these I've seen. What are we talking about?
He's talking about JDM speed timers.
Okay.
Like bullheads or kakumes that have their own specific bracelets that they were given in Japan for the Japanese home market.
Okay, so every one of these I've seen, including the one I own, has a short bracelet with a factory spring-loaded extender. I have no idea why Seiko did this. Literally every example I've seen has the exact same number of links, which is 11 total. Same thing with the JDM bullhead. Weird. Also very odd is the fact that the links aren't really removable without bending open the center link.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. It's interesting. My assumption has always been that Japanese wrists were smaller, and they wanted to make it, have a quicker piece to rather than having to, some bean counter said, well, if we make these bracelet extenders for, foreigners or something, or people with bigger wrists, then it'll cost us less money overall than producing these special bespoke links. That's all I can think of, and I've noticed it too. Those spring-loaded. It's always a bummer when they're gone, and you can tell you get them because the bracelets are so small without them, And there's just having missing links on a vintage Seiko is never fun because finding replacement links is hell on wheels.
SBDX017 Marinemaster Beach Find video. Dennis Des 7. Am I the only one thinking that there's really something off about the backstory of this watch? It's difficult to understand how that level of water ingress could have happened without the crown being unscrewed. Certainly the crystal is firmly screwed down. One can only speculate, but the reported history of the watch sounds quite unlikely. Which watch is this?
This was the Marinemaster that got found on a beach in Hawaii.
Oh.
That was filled with water.
Okay.
And was sealed.
Right.
And so it wasn't bad yet. And then the owner,
right.
And the owner, he was like, I shouldn't have opened that. I never should have opened that watch. I should have said, if we're opening this thing, we're restoring it, or I'm not opening it. That's what I should have done. What happens with stainless steel is it doesn't want to rust unless you don't get that salt out of there, and it has a place where it starts picking through. And that one had a channel that was eaten right basically through the screw down ring of that crystal, and it went right into the middle of the watch. And all it took was sitting in seawater long enough for that to happen. There's no other way for that hole to have been made that I can think of, unless there was some kind of hole in it when Seiko made it, but I've never seen anything like that. The story makes sense to me, except for the part where I opened it instead of, telling the customer that, I'm not opening this unless we're restoring it. But, what are you going to do? It's a compelling story, and it's not one that happens very often. But I didn't get the impression there was anything, untoward going on. I bought the story, so here we are.
I mean, it makes sense. And if for some reason it isn't true, okay, who cares?
Man, if I had found that watch on the beach, I'd been over the moon. I never would have sold it. I would have flown home that day and restored it that evening.
Yeah, but the guy with the original owner contacted.
Yeah, the original owner contacted me, and I can't get in contact with the dude who has the watch.
Right.
He probably threw it away.
Sorry. Rolex versus Seiko head-to-head. Alderman Fred C. Davis. I have always been attracted to very high-quality items that only a serious aficionado would know and recognize, like a Toyota Landcruiser Marinemaster all day, every day.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is because, you know the secret. Everybody can love a Rolex. But to know and recognize a Marinemaster is, you have to really kind of be on your game. And know that you got something special. Just like you have to know your business to know what a cool watch that is.
Keeping the Seiko 6139 or 6138 chronograph running. Heath W8B or Waitby. Thanks for the info. I have the Seiko 6138 and 6139. I also have 4 Citizen chronographs from the 70s with the 8110A movement. Does this also apply? I think they have a vertical clutch as well. Thanks in advance.
They do, and I would say the same rules apply because you're still dealing with a clutch spring. In that you don't want to have the spring compressed all the time. Me personally, I'm more concerned with going between the states, running and not running. But you don't want to ride your clutch, like my dad used to say when he was teaching me to drive a stick. You don't ride your clutch. You want to, reduce the number of use cycles that you put a spring through, just like...
Pulsar 6309, the Y5146,009. Race car James 53. Hi, Spencer and Sabrina. Thanks for taking the time to reply to my comment.
Always.
I just picked up a Y514 from Australia, but that was after searching for like 6 months and missing out on a couple that went quickly. My advice to anyone with the Y514 is if you see one in decent condition, jump on it. They don't hang around long. Cool t-shirt, by the way, Sabrina. was I wearing?
I have no idea.
Love classic sci-fi, mostly the 60s to the 2000s. I have lots of sci-fi shirts. I don't know which
Were
one.
you wearing a Spock shirt?
No, I have a Spock shirt that it was so old. It was ordered from a catalog on the phone in the early 2000s before like this place had a website. I still have it, but it's so old. It has like holes and tatteredness, but I still have it.
Well, what other science fiction shirt do you think you might be wearing? Might have been wearing.
I have Star Wars shirts. What else do I have? I rotate shirts, and the thing with TeePublic is that's where I get most of them because the art is cool. But after a handful of washes, the graphic dies. So, and then I get rid of the shirt. So I don't know what I was wearing.
Yeah, but this is only a couple weeks ago.
Wait, what? No, this is on a Pulsar video.
Oh, right. No, but the comment was only from a couple weeks ago. Oh, you don't remember what you were wearing on this ancient video.
Yes.
Ugh, finally the penny drops. Okay, now I understand what's going on. I was like, why can't you remember what shirt you were wearing 2 weeks ago?
What?
I don't know.
Do you remember what shirt you were wearing?
I only wear like 3 shirts.
I remember the sweater I was wearing.
I wear my Port City Amplification shirt. I wear my Casa Bonita shirt. I wear my KVW shirt. I sometimes wear 1 or 2 or more of my Ron John's t-shirts, but that's pretty much about it. All of my TeePublic ones died, like yours.
Yeah, it's so sad. Okay, the overdue review, Rdunae R2X6105 Homage. Roger B. Hutton. The only change I see in the crown is that the arrow direction is reversed. While it may not be historically accurate like the Rdunae I bought 2 years ago, it is now accurate in that this crown has to be turned clockwise in order to actually lock it. Happy to hear it has a clear AR coating. Maybe I have to buy another one. Kind of wish they had 20 millimeter lug width just for added strap and bracelet options. Do you think a 19 millimeter bracelet intended for an original 8110 would work on this?
Well, the 8110 never had a bracelet. Boy, I sound like a dick, don't I? Well, I just sounded like I just corrected the guy, like he's saying, oh, this bracelet. The 8110s, they never came with a bracelet. They only ever came with a strap. But I was the guy who came up with the idea of putting an H-link on a 6105 and a 6309, and it's possible for both. You have to do some fiddling. I'll actually put in a segment because my Rdunae happens to have an H-link on it right now. So yes, this is an H-link. This is a solid stainless H-link that was made by the inimitable Jonathan Koch. This is an original East Tech solid stainless. He was the first person to ever recreate the H-link bracelet. These are actually quite rare and beautifully made. They were a recreation of the Stellux, not the thinner, lighter H-link of the non-JDM ones. But yeah, with those, with end links and everything, it goes right on, and that's what it looks like. Yeah, these bracelets, these are rare. I had 4, now I have 2. I just think that I always thought the H-link looked good on this because it's a 60s design, and this is a 60s design, and they go together. I think they just work, if you ask me. And so, here we are.
I hope that was cool.
I hope that was cool.
KVW's looking at new old watches. Speedy Paul 2314. I do the 6105. I want to see the Loom markers come back in the year on the back of that dial.
Is there more, or is that it?
That's it.
Yeah, me too. I was just looking at that watch, and I don't know how it's going to come back. The tops of the markers, they could be a little rough. I'm not 100% sure. The Loom is definitely, if I bring that Loom back, that's really, really damaged Loom. I'll do it. I'll do my best. We'll see how he came out. The last 6105 I just did, it came out really nicely. I can't even, like, and the fact that the Loom has this, like, tan butter color.
Why don't you put in a picture of it?
Oh, sure. That's a good idea. I'll do a before picture and an after picture. This is of a customer's watch, not my watch. This is a customer's watch. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to achieve that with this 6105 Slim Willard, but I'll try. It's the next one up for my own watches, and, you know, I might look at it this weekend, especially because it's supposed to be cold and nasty.
Not nasty, just chilly.
Chilly.
God. All you do is complain about the weather. What kind of weather would make you happy?
No, the one time, do you remember, it wasn't, I think it was in the spring, or was it last year, where it was completely still, there was no wind, and the air was literally body temperature. It wasn't hot and it wasn't cold at all. Like, you could stand outside absolutely in your birthday suit and not feel anything. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Well, I like when it's chilly, so.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're making tortilla soup because it's chilly.
Steve Wilkinson 7200. Hi, Spencer and Sabrina. I vote for the LeJour as the 7750 is my favorite movement and hope to own one someday. As for the finish on the case, it may be parkerizing, a common iron phosphate coating commonly used on shotguns and other firearms in the 70s and beyond to protect from corrosion. I will be watching for it when it hits your sale page.
I don't know that I'm going to sell it. I really like it.
He's so proud of it.
I'm very, very proud of it. You know, the funny thing is, I'm going to do a review video of this, but for the past few days, I've been looking at this watch and thinking, I really have been thinking, it looks like a gun finish. It doesn't look like PVD at all. It looks like some, I don't know, would I get in, I mean, I have a couple World War II firearms that have parkerization. Would I get in trouble if I show that on YouTube?
Well, no, I don't.
I don't want to frighten the people watching the video. I'll consider it, but I have a couple World War II firearms that have parkerization, and it looks really attractive, and it's worn in beautifully. It looks really tough and tooly. It's a nice combo, and I'm very proud with how the crown looks. You can't tell the crown was chrome. It looks like it's worn in with the rest of everything else.
Mm-hmm. Wait, but he said that it was firearms in the 70s.
Well, yeah. I mean, parkerization has been done for a long time. I mean, the Germans did parkerization when they started running out of material to do bluing with towards the end of the war. That's why one of the P-38s I have has a parkerized slide. Because they ran out of that stuff, and they were like, well, crap, we can't blue this thing, what are we going to do? And they parkerized it.
Okay, that's a new term to me today.
Some dude named Parker, probably.
Probably.
Okay, parkerization. This is a 1943 M1911 A1, whatever the heck it is. This is completely original. Anybody wants to do me a favor, find out who this guy was. I don't know who he was, but I have his pistol. It's all matching. This is right at the end in 1943. A lot of people say, oh no, these things, they were never serial number matched. They only ever had the one serial number here. Well, up into 1943, the slides were in fact numbered to match the frames. And that's what this one is. All safe, nothing in there. Mag out, we're all good. Anyway, but that is parkerization. I mean, it does look similar, doesn't it? I don't know. This watch, it has this, it's just aged in beautifully. And, you know, whatever this You know, whatever this finish is, I'm a fan. It looks super tough. I dig it 100%. There you go.
Arilyn 82. Hi, the LeJour has a powder coating, I believe like the first Orfinas. Then they changed to PVD. I have a LeJour like that too, and the powder coating has aged wonderfully.
Yeah, well, if that's what this is, I mean, it's not PVD. This looks like something that's like, it looks like the metal itself has something on it. Like in it, like the metal itself is also the black stuff. I don't know, it's beautifully done.
Conair Mick.
Hello.
I believe the LeJour is powder coated, not anodized. I own a Porsche design by Orfina, which is very similar and the original. It is the same as the Top Gun, but the tachymeter doesn't say 1 mile on it. Great watch and criminally underrated in my humble opinion.
I never expected, I haven't ever looked for one of these because I thought that it was like the Seiko style PVD, which it looks like this sort of thickish spray paint that wears off poorly. It looks kind of crappy. This kind of gun finish or whatever it is, until I saw it, I didn't appreciate it. This is a really cool watch.
Did you ever do anything with that bluing I got you?
Well, yeah, I've used it for a few things.
Well, for watch-related things.
No, you know what? I haven't. I haven't. I wonder if it would work on chrome hands.
Isn't that why I got it for you?
I think it is actually why you got it for me, and I completely forgot until this moment.
I went into the gun shop in like a hippie skirt and Birkenstocks, and they were like, "What the F are you doing in here?"
Hey, man! You know you're the one who you're as free as to go in there as anybody.
I know. I really like that blue color. I like how it looks in when you shine it in the light, not necessarily on a. Hang on. Not necessarily on a firearm, but one of the watches I have has it, right?
Well, the Omega has blued hands.
No, there was some. Is it the one that has the Rolex movement in it, but it's not?
No, the Omega chronograph, the Omega 321.
One of mine.
Yes.
Oh.
Has blued hands, but I kind of faked that. So what that is I actually used a clear enamel binder that I tinted with blue gloss to make it a blue kind of look, and then I thinned it the hell down, and I basically painted the top of it enough with I ran like a lot of it on there with a lot of thinner so it spread out evenly and gave it that blued look. I don't know how I feel about it. I haven't looked at it in a while.
Okay. Last one. CMB 1972. Hi, Spencer. Are the 6105A and 6105B mean plates the same?
I happen to have filmed a segment specifically to address this question. Is there anything more besides this?
No?
Well, let's put that segment in. Since I'm here, I'm going to answer a question that somebody had. They asked me about the 6105A versus B movements. If the main plates are different or similar. Well, the difference is that they cannot be exchanged. 6105A cannot take a hacking lever. So 6117A and 6105A are both one thing, and the B's are both one thing. And I'll show you here in just a moment. Just get this weight off of here. Not weight, the ratchet wheel. Okay, so you're just about to see the difference. Okay, So there is the gear train of a 6105. And you can see right here, that is your hacking lever. That's what makes a B a B. And the hacking lever sits in a channel which is machined out around that screw. And you can't, the A just doesn't have it. Also, there's a channel in the center wheel bridge for that hacking lever. And again, the A doesn't have it. You can, come on, gosh darn it, get out of there. Out. Any 6106 is the same, and it just is the same. So anyway, that's the difference between a 6105A and B. And there's that segment. So that was all the questions.
That's it.
That's all the questions. Well, we thank you always for your questions. I hope our answers were useful and that our presentation was entertaining, and that all of you have cool things to do this weekend. Remember, Broncos aren't playing. We played on Thursday, so we're off this week as far as I know.
And in honor of the peanut butter discussion, I'm going to go make myself a PB&J.
Well, that's a good idea. I think that's a fine idea. Yep, so everybody enjoy your weekend. I'm going to poke my nose at that 6105 this weekend probably, and see what I can come up with it. And I don't know, sounds good so far to me. That's it. Okay, bye folks.